Nerds for Yang.
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Hello, nerds!
Now with this campaign, bang, dang, it's and true. Come roll with.
Hello, nerds! This is a spontaneous live stream. I've been doing a lot of Yang content lately, a lot of interviews, but I haven't done a solo video in a long time. So I was like, well, I could go to bed. It's getting late, or we could just look at some charts. So I said, let's get some charts, mofos. Let's do it. All right. So for this one, we're going to go look at polls, national and by state. Then we will look at betting odds from two different. Oh, Craig Rogers is wearing a calculator shirt. Nice. Well done, Craig. So we're going to do polls, betting odds, social media, Google search, YouTube search. By the end of this live stream, you will have more data than anybody else, than most other people. I'm sure there's some people that have more data, but you know, this is just how we roll, right? Okay, and then if there's time and there's interest, we can do like an Ask Me Anything. But let's just jump into the data, shall we? All right. Here is the first one. There was actually a poll that was just released October 7th. Let's see the latest. I thought there was one that just came out. Yeah, it looks like October 3rd, the Investors Business Daily one. And this one's notable because they claim to be the most accurate poll around, that they've correctly predicted many elections. I don't know if it's true. Maybe it's just their marketing. But what do we notice here with the IBD poll, the Investor Business Daily poll? Well, the first thing is that we are tied with Harris, according to this poll. So as you look at previous polls, you'll see we are often behind Harris. So economists 5 to 7, Monmouth economists 3 to 5, 3 for Yang, 5 Harris. Monmouth 2 to 5, Harris advantage. Politico 3 to 6, Harris advantage. And let's see. Basically, I think if we go back in time, there's never been a point where we were tied with Harris. Sometimes we were within 1 point of her. But this IBD poll is the first time we've come tied. So that is momentum, or as Shingblad would say, Yangmentum. Oh, Fred the Felon is saying we have to kick off the thank you, Andrew Yang, at 9 p.m. Eastern. Okay, the thing is, mine might be a little late because I'm already at 10 p.m. Swiss time. So but I will for sure thank Andrew Yang. In fact, maybe I'll just do it right now while you're reminding me in terms of hashtag thank Andrew Yang. So I'm going to make a quick message to Andrew. Andrew, let me tell you something. As a fellow father of 2 boys and husband to an amazing wife, I just want to say the fact that you are out there on the road, whatever it is, 5 days a week, working your tail off, dealing with this enormous campaign, and really probably feeling a lot of the movement behind you and getting energy from it, but also feeling probably a little bit of pressure. I just want you to know, like, dude, you are kicking ass. And whatever happens, we are behind you 1,000%. And that's why when you get to the White House and you get sworn in, it'll be probably one of the most magical and historic and inspiring moments in my life as a son of immigrants who moved here. And I remember when I was little, my parents would say, this is America. Anything's possible here. Anyone can become president. I never really, took them very seriously. And here you are, man, coming out of nowhere, taking time away from your family, taking time away from potentially earning income, and trying to solve problems for the whole country, not just one group, and trying to bring us together and trying to do it in a very authentic way, being yourself, having a good time. We are behind you 1000%. And so thank you, Andrew. You are freaking amazing. You really are. And thank you, Evelyn, as well. And thanks to the boys for not seeing Dad as much. Hopefully you get them like a dog or something when you get to the White House. Or I don't know, if they're like my boys, they may want reptiles, but whatever. So thank you for that. And that's my brief thank you, Andrew Yang moment. All right, now let's get to some charts. So like we were saying, hold on. Okay, so first time ever tied with Harris. However, let's keep it real, guys. We're tied with Harris, but Harris is not exactly setting records, okay? She's at 3. And so on the one hand, you're like, whoa, we're tied with someone who used to be the hot hand. On the other hand, I think we are seeing her come on the way down. She's kind of like falling through the branches, and we're not on the top branch. Now, that said, the other thing that I will call out, if you look at the chart, let's see if we can get this chart going. My computer is, okay, here we go. Look at this, guys. Look at what we see here. What we are witnessing is the slow descent of Biden. And when he loses first place, that deceleration of Biden will only get worse and worse every day. Now, obviously, you've got President Trump spending a lot of airtime, calling a lot of question into Biden's and Biden's son. And here's the harsh reality, in my opinion. I don't know this for sure, but this is my guess. Family members of elected officials in Washington often get invited to sit on boards of companies that want to get access. And I think Hunter Biden participated in that. I don't think he's the first person to do it. I don't think he broke any laws, but it is representative of how Washington works for many, many decades. And in my opinion, it's another reason why it's time for a change. And last election, we definitely got a change, but we brought in someone who's kind of narcissistic, who's not super cerebral, doesn't like to read, but is a great showman. And I think this time we can bring someone in who's from the outside, who wants to solve problems, who takes a fresh approach, who likes data, who likes logic and facts, and who's willing to listen. So anyway, the main thing here is we're witnessing history. I think in the next week or two, Biden will no longer be the front runner. And if I had to guess, I'm not even sure if he's going to stay in the race past South Carolina. He may see the writing on the wall if he doesn't perform well in those primaries, and I don't think he will. And, he will have given it the college try. I hope he doesn't hang around for the whole thing only to kind of distract while other people are trending upwards. The other thing I will point out is, hold on one second. Get rid of this. Let me show you something that I tweeted out earlier, which is a really cool chart. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, this is, by the way, a quick moment. This is latest art from my son, Brandon. If Trump is a pair of scissors cutting countries apart, then I am freaking rock. And then he puts on the bottom with a little asterisk, as usual, everyone knows rock beats scissors. So Brandon, the Yang Gang artist, strikes again. He asked me, what's Warren? And I said, I think Warren's paper. I think scissors will slice the crap out of Warren, unfortunately. Even if she means well, I don't think she'll hold up well against the Donald. But that's not the chart I want to show you. Here it is. Okay. So this is the Real Clear Politics average. So this takes a running last 2 weeks of of polling data, and it unfortunately the data is cut off, but it's the last 3 months. So it goes September, August, July, or July, August, September from left to right. Now, what you'll notice here is look at that Harris chart. That is not a good looking chart. That is basically Biden is about to get on that train. And in this business, I think campaigns are like startups. Like you want to bet on the one with momentum. Wired Mindset. Who made this chart in MS Paint? Hey, come on now, Wired. It's not artists for Yang. Shoot. It's nerds for Yang, man. Any rate, so you see Harris downward trend. You see Pete, well, he's kind of bumpy, but he's certainly not on fire. You see Beto kind of slow death. You see Booker's really taking it hard, not in a good way. And then there's that clump. And remember, we were always in the clump. But then you look at that beautiful, like bluish green color, Andrew M.F. Yang. That is a stock I would buy. That is a trend you want to be on. Now, of course, would we like it if the slope of the line were higher? Of course we would, but I figured I'd just share that with you. So in summary, when it comes to the polls, I think the key takeaway is we are about to witness the parting of ways with Biden. And, I don't know what Hunter did. I don't know if it was legal or illegal, but not only is it going to be something like an albatross around Biden's neck, but the way Biden has handled it has not been good. I mean, he's kind of like a turtle on his back, like he's trying to put up a fight, but it's not really working. And I guess the real question will be, how does Biden perform in the next debate? Because if he has another record player moment, or he just gets confused or tired, it's only going to accelerate the descent. Now, we cannot ignore the fact that this is going to be a Warren Yang final. Those will be the final two. I do not believe that Sanders, I mean, obviously with the heart attack, this is only kind of confirming everybody's worst fears. I mean, the guy's 78. You got to give him credit for fighting this long, but 78's not an age that typically is representative of the kind of capabilities and stamina and energy, immune system, cognitive capabilities that are required to run a very intense race and then serve as president of the United States for 4 to 8 years. Now, Buttigieg he's just a stubborn one, man. Buttigieg is probably, unfortunately, not going to go away. He's probably going to stick around for a long time. That mofo raised less than he did last quarter, but last quarter he raised 25. So the fact that he raised, I think it was 19, like that dude, he's like that startup that just raised a shit ton of money and is not going anywhere for a long time. But then the rest, I think Harris, O'Rourke, Booker, I don't think we really need to worry about them. So that's it for the national polls. Let me take a look at Iowa while we're here and go into the state polls. You've got Yang at 2, but this poll is September 18th, so we might be doing much better than that. So I wouldn't read into that Iowa poll. Let's see if there's a recent New Hampshire poll. We've got one from September 29th. Yang at 2, Gabbard at 3. So Steve Marchand, you got your work cut out for you. I know you're going to pull off an upset, but you don't need to make it this surprising. South Carolina. What's Jermaine up to? What's the doctor up to? 1. Eek. And this one was from October 2nd. Now you could argue, well, Beto is only at 0. Okay. Booker at 3, even though you would think he'd be stronger given the African-American community and African-American vote, but 41 for Biden. Okay. So here, guys, here's why South Carolina is interesting. Because if Biden stumbles and begins a slow descent as we expect, it's like tossing up all the cards in the air for South Carolina, and those 41 need to go somewhere. Are those 41 that are currently supporting Biden, are they really all going to go to Warren? Elizabeth Warren? I don't know. I think Warren typically has had a lot of difficulty with the African-American vote. So it might be more of a battle for the Biden support between probably not Sanders because of health concerns. So it'll be between Harris, Buttigieg, Booker, and Yang. Now, I hesitate to call BS on Warren's abilities in South Carolina because Yang has not demonstrated a great ability to attract the African-American vote either. But I guess what I'm saying is if you're worried about South Carolina, know that the game is about to be reset because in the last week, we've had Sanders get a heart attack and we're going to have Biden lose his number 1 position. And what's the number 1 reason why people support Biden is because they think he can win. And the moment he loses his number 1 position, all of a sudden the emperor has no clothes. So sorry for that visual, people. What about Nevada? Nevada is another early state. We have a poll from September 26th, and we have Yang at 3. Now look at this. Look at Steyer, dude. This is why we all thank you to everybody who gave to the campaign and why we need to keep giving and raising money because freaking Steyer is a perfect example of someone who does not have a strong following and has just spent millions and millions of dollars on paid advertising. And that's what you get. I mean, imagine if Yang had spent as much money as Steyer on marketing, we'd be at like 12 by now. But anyway, so Steyer is going to be causing trouble. And then in California, which this year will come a little earlier, come in March 3rd, we've got September 25th is the last one, Yang at 3. So interesting. Wow, he was at 7 on a couple of polls. And that was that one, the Emerson one. Man, Emerson loves Yang. I don't know who they're calling, but whatever. It seems to be either Emerson's way off and everybody's else is right, or maybe Emerson's the one polling company that's got a better handle on the election. Okay, so that is the polls. And now I'm going to move on to Twitter. So right now you've got Warren. I'm only comparing Warren, Buttigieg, and Yang because I don't believe that we really need to worry about Castro or Klobuchar or Booker or Harris for that matter. I really think these are going to be the final three in terms of who's the last people standing. And right now, in terms of total followers, number one, you have Warren doing very well with 3.3 million or 3.29. You've got Yang at 915,000 and then Buttigieg at 1.46 million. So Yang, at this rate, will probably break the million mark in a few weeks, maybe sooner. The other thing I would call out is look at the distance between the blue and red line. So Buttigieg is the blue line. And as you can see, the vertical distance, the point on the y-axis between the blue and red line is getting smaller and smaller, meaning we are closing the gap. I mean, you look at here, at one point, Buttigieg had 1 million. We had 270,000. So he had 3.3 times as many Twitter followers as we did. And now we're at 900,000 and he's at 1.5. So now he only has about 1.6 times what we have. So if you were in a race and you wanted to bet on a horse and you were choosing between Buttigieg and Yang, I would say I would go for Yang. Now Warren does have a very big lead though. So I mean she's 3 times the followers that we have. Now here's the daily growth in Twitter followers. And as you can see, like if we go back to October 6th, you've got Warren adding 6.9K new followers, Buttigieg 1.3K, and Yang 2.4. And if you go October 5th, you've got Yang adding almost 6, Buttigieg only a little less than 2, but Warren 9. And then let's say it's October 1st, you got Yang almost 3, Buttigieg a little over 1, Warren about 5. So every day we are closing the gap on Buttigieg. Unfortunately, let's keep it real. Every day Warren is pulling a little bit further away from us. Someone wants me to compare Bernie. You guys really want me to put Bernie on? All right, I'll put Bernie on, but I don't feel like Bernie's really kind of as relevant, but we'll do it. What is Bernie's handle? Let's see. Oh, come on, man. This computer is so slow. It is Send Sanders or is it Burn Sanders? I wonder which one. He's got 2. Let's see. This one has 10 million followers, Bernie Sanders. That's probably the big one. Let's use that one. Bernie Sanders. We're going to take out Warren or take out Buttigieg since we're closing in on him. Bernie Sanders. All right. Here we go. Bernie now is the blue. So he's ahead of Warren. But if you look at daily followers, let's see what the growth is like. Bernie's adding 8K on October 9th. On October 7th, Bernie added 5K, Warren added 5K, we added 2. On October 6th, Bernie added 6, a little less than Warren, who added 6.9, we added 2. On October 4th, we added 4, he added 6, Warren added 13. So basically, Warren is pulling away. Bernie is growing faster than us, but Bernie just had a heart attack, guys. So I'm pretty sure that's kind of, in my opinion, a disqualifying factor. I don't think people are comfortable voting for someone who just had a heart attack if he's 78 and running for president of the United States. Furthermore, as a former Bernie supporter back in 2015, I don't think that's fair to him. If I were his family, I would not be down with that. Especially when the polls are like this. And let's go back to the national. It's not like Bernie has this like massive lead, and if he drops out, he's going to, kind of give up the presidency. Bernie is this dark blue line, and he's been, in third and drifting down. So anyway, I'm not thinking Bernie's going to be around in the race as a candidate. Now let's look at let's start with Google searches, web search, and then national. Hey guys, would you mind if I get a quick glass of water? I'm about to lose my voice. Can you just wait here for 1 second? Don't go anywhere. Wow, we have 288 concurrents. We never had this many. But you can look at this chart together while I get my water. Okay. Wired Mindset is just giving me all kinds of grief for my my design skills. All right. This is what are we seeing in this chart? This is US web searches. Let's be real. Freaking Warren got more searches than Yang. But this is the past 12 months. So let's look at like the past 90 days. And you see consistently Warren is, she's acting like the front runner. And now Buttigieg is not getting very much search activity at all. So you guys still want me to put Bernie in there? I mean, I'll put it in there. God. I love Bernie, but I really don't think he's a candidate anymore. Oh, there's 2 of them. I think I'm just going to put Bernie here. Ooh, well, you got a lot of people searching for Bernie, I think, because of his health things. But if you go before his heart attack, you'll see that he had similar searches to Warren. Buttigieg is definitely the bottom of the pile for web searches. If I had Beto, I mean, just for shits and giggles, let's see. Cory Booker. Did I spell Cory wrong? Probably. There he is. All right. Cory is the green one. This is, you don't want to be the green one, guys. This is nicked good. If you're a Cory Booker fan, you don't want to see Andrew Yang getting 7 times the search activity as you. I mean, you're You're behind the mayor from South Bend. Yeah, that's not looking good for Corey. Now, some of you might be saying, well, what about Julian Castro? I mean, now we're just searching. now I feel like we're trying to make ourselves feel better, but whatever, we'll do it. Okay, yeah, you definitely, I think he's the purple one. You don't want to be green and you don't want to be purple. That's looking terrible. Oh my God. Yeah. Now, you want to know something funny? Oh, guys are saying check YouTube searches. All right. Hold up. I got you. YouTube searches. YouTube Andrew Yang. Yep. The king of YouTube remains the king of YouTube. I mean, I think this is a perfect example of this guy is willing to go on long form interviews and put himself out there. And Elizabeth Warren and Biden do not do that. When was the last time you saw Biden do a long form interview? Think about it. His team is hiding him because they know the more he talks, the worse they perform. He's the complete inverse of Andrew MF Yang. The more he talks, the more people want to support him. Which, by the way, is another reason why I'm still a little pissed off about this debate forcing 12 people to show up on the same night. This is a perfect example of the DNC not wanting a real contest. The same way they foisted Hillary on the party last time, they're trying to push Warren on the party this time. And look, if Warren wins fair and square and we have enough opportunities, I will 100% support her and I will give her money because I definitely don't want Donald Trump. But I will tell you something. If this freaking party is setting up this debate format so that candidates who are gaining momentum, who have raised $10 million with zero name recognition, are only getting like 5 minutes to talk, that's going to be a really hard pill to swallow. All right, I'm not gonna rage, but you guys know that's some bullshit. And if you guys saw Morning Joe this morning, unfreaking believable. I wish I could show you. They basically spent an hour talking about the race, and they were like, oh, Biden's struggling, and with Bernie's heart attack, there's room for someone new to emerge as an alternative to Warren. And then they were like, who could it be? And they're like, well, maybe it'll be Harris or Buttigieg or Klobuchar or Booker. And basically everyone except the guy who had the second biggest increase in fundraising dollar for dollar. Oh, I have a chart for that. I actually made one. Hold on. Let me go to my Twitter. Let me show you guys this because this is really starting to tick me off. Where's my chart? I posted too much to Twitter. Come on now. Where the hell? Here it is. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. This is a comparison of the dollars raised in third quarter versus the dollar raised in second quarter. And it's in millions. And what do we see here? Who had the biggest increase in absolute dollars, not percent? Because a lot of people were like, oh, if you're nothing and you get to 3, it's like a 200% increase. No. This is absolute freaking dollars. This is not going from like $1 to $3, $1 to $5. This is going from 2.8 million to $10 million. Okay? Real money. Only one candidate had a bigger increase than Yang. And unfortunately for him, it was the guy who just had a heart attack and who's 78 and is probably, going to have to make some hard choices. Did Warren have a bigger increase than Yang? No. She had a decent increase, 5 million, but I'll take a $7 million increase. And if, 7.2, but who's counting? So no one in the mainstream media has reported this. This is the guy who's not a sitting senator, who didn't have a war chest, who isn't on it, getting invited on the mainstream media on every freaking interview show, who isn't being talked about and sort of worshipped like all these other candidates. This is a guy that is either being ignored or being mocked. And he's actually a guy that has real solutions. And despite the mainstream media blacking him out, he's raised $10 million in the third quarter, a $7.2 million increase. Did Booker raise more? Yeah, he raised, like, he begged for the money. He begged and said, I'm going to quit if I don't get more money. And he scraped together like a million more than last time. Did Harris, the, I was that little girl, Senator Biden, you're terrible for everything you did in 1970, saying that you would work with Republicans. How dare you, right? That one, the one that sold the T-shirts that the same night with the picture of her, and the one that's super spontaneous and authentic. She raised less this quarter than the previous quarter. That is a sign of a dying campaign. Because if you're a donor and you give money and then you see that candidate raised less in the subsequent period, are you really going to get on that train? Buttigieg, now Buttigieg also raised less, but he raised so much. You gotta give him credit. That mofo went from like from 25 to 19. So I don't know where his money's come from, but man, those people are supporting him. And then look at Biden. Man, Biden basically, he kind of, he's like running a race, and he basically ran out of energy after like 10 seconds after the starting gun went off. So, which is all a wind up for me saying, how in the heck did Morning Joe, Meet the Press, Face the Nation, This Week with George Stephanopoulos, no one talk about this. No one is talking about the guy that came out of nowhere raising more and having a bigger increase than everyone else. Freaking ridiculous. All right. I'll get off that rant for a minute. Okay, now, you guys have angry Tom because it's getting late and I'm kind of pissed. Need to drink some water. Calm down. Okay. That was the YouTube searches. We already acknowledged we're the king of YouTube. Now, here's a question. Are we the king of YouTube? We know we're the king of YouTube nationally. Are we the king of YouTube in very important places like Iowa? Very little data, but over the last 90 days, we have the most YouTube action in Iowa. So that's good. What about New Hampshire? This is like seriously the slowest computer. This computer is like from freaking 2011. I think it's like a candidate who's gonna be gone. New Hampshire also leading in the YouTube searches, and South Carolina. So we are the king of YouTube in the first two primary states, and also in South Carolina, Although I will say Warren's pretty close to us, but we're still number one. And then if you look at the web searches, I thought it might be interesting if we look at what are people searching for when they search for our candidates. So let's take a look, see here. Oh, come on. Seriously? This little engine that could. Come on. Spin, boy. Ay, ay, ay. All right, while that's loading, let's go to another page here. Oh, I'm so tempted to stay on this page, though. Okay, let's look at betting odds. Betting odds are, if you look at predicted, we are tied. By the way, who in the heck is thinking of betting on Hillary Clinton? Like, seriously? No, not going to happen. So what we really have is Warren paying 50 cents. So basically double your money, 1 in 2 chance. You've got Biden, in my opinion, very accurately 1 in 4 chance, as in much less than Warren. And then you've got Yang 1 in 10. And then I think Bernie is going to be going down. So the betting markets favor Yang over Buttigieg and Harris. That's according to Predicted. But if you look at the electionbettingodds.com, which I think pulls its data from a couple other sources, they have Warren 50% chance of winning the primary, and then they have Yang about a 5% chance, and that's in the last week. If you say the last day, you'll see Sanders coming down, Yang flat. And then if you say in the last week, or we can say, let's look at the chart. Let's look at the charty. Okay. Who's this beautiful green one? Oh, Warren. My God, if you're a Warren supporter, you are feeling fan-freaking-tastic. If you're, what is this? Biden supporter, you're not looking too good. And then Sanders, you're definitely on the downward trend. And where the heck is Yang? Oh, he's in the clump. He's in the clump. He's consistently in the clump in the 5% chance range. So this is why, guys, I'm kind of pissed about this debate, because every debate is a shot for us to change the game. And every time there's a debate where our guy only gets a few minutes, like, let's not make him try to win the game with 2 seconds on the clock. Like, it can be done, if you're like Seahawks style, like, fight. But let's give every team a chance, man. This is ridiculous. Okay, anyway, let's go back to the searches. Okay, so this is showing across the country, where do you have the biggest interest in Yang? You've got nice interest in California, Nevada. Oh, guys, let me make that bigger. Nevada, that's great. We're a top tier web search. We already know we own YouTube, but for web search, we're leading. California should be good for us. North Dakota, Wyoming, and what's this here? Indiana. I guess that's where Mayor Pete lives. Iowa. Yeah, Iowa is Warren. Basically, this pink Warren area is big. There's a lot of Warren searches. Now, if you look at what are people searching for, they're searching for our friend Shane Gillis. Thank God he's no longer going to be having a national platform. Andrew Luck? Why in the heck would anyone search for Andrew Luck when they're looking for Andrew Yang? That's strange. Now I'm curious. Andrew Yang, Andrew Luck. Oh, because he tweeted about Luck retiring? Huh. Okay. Maybe Andrew Yang is just showing that he's a regular NFL fan. I mean, I don't think he's ever tweeted about what magic Russell Wilson does, though, which is weird, but whatever. For Warren, what are they searching for? Oh, she did that big event in Washington Park. Dayton shooter. Zuckerberg. I guess like she's probably talking about breaking up Facebook. Buttigieg. Why would anyone search for his forehead? What in the heck? That is the weirdest thing. Why is anybody interested in his forehead? Okay. I gotta do it, right? Let's do it. Pete Buttigieg. Forehead. What's the big deal with his forehead? Oh, he had a smudge on his forehead? Dudes, we don't care. Okay, this is why sometimes people search for weird stuff. I really don't care if he had a smudge on his forehead. What are they searching for the other candidates? Oh, now we're going to have to wait for this to load. What about Cory Booker? Let's see. Cory Booker Kool-Aid. Dude, you cannot keep living on one line. Julian Castro donations. Well, don't look too close. It's not looking too great. All right, so that's the search stuff. And then we did the Twitter stuff, and then we did the betting odds. Now, I will do a minor discussion with you guys. Someone asked me recently what I thought of a Warren Yang ticket. I know. It's a rare combination. Now, you could argue, hey, that doesn't make no sense because Warren is what is it? She's an automation denier. She believes in massive government breakups of large American companies. She's not super, she's a different vibe than Yang, let's just say. So those are all the reasons why that's a dumb question. On the other hand, she is the leader in the polls. She also can help us activate more women voters. And she will need someone on her ticket to kind of fire it up. But you know what? Even hearing me say it, fuck that. No, I don't want that shit. Sorry. Sorry. Fred's probably cursing at me. Yeah, no, forget that, man. We don't want to. We want the top of the ticket. Now, if we but if we had the top of the ticket, okay, we had the top of the ticket. So we are the president. Warren as our VP. What do you think? Nah, I just don't like. I find Warren a little preachy, a little judgy, a little I'm so smarty. Somehow Yang pulls it off without like rubbing your face in how smart he is. He manages to be really smart without with having some humility. And I feel like Warren's always like fighting, you know? I don't feel a lot of warmth. Tulsi, I feel warmth. You know, for all his foibles, Biden has warmth. Harris really tries to demonstrate warmth. But Warren, yeah, any rate. All right, so let's take some questions and then we'll wrap it up because it's at 50 minutes. A lot of people saying never Warren. Yeah, I agree. Warren, not authentic. RoboZero. If you guys have questions, people are saying Stacey Abrams is also a nerd. Let's take a look. For those who are not familiar with Stacey Abrams, let's take a look at her Wikipedia bio. Stacey Abrams bio. Okay. Early life. So she is the second of 6 siblings, born in Madison, Wisconsin, home of a whole pack of Badgers where Russell Wilson was quarterback. Moved to Atlanta, where her parents pursued graduate degrees and later became Methodist ministers. Went to a summer program, probably for very bright people. Has her bachelor's in poli-sci, econ, and soc, so interdisciplinary studies from Spelman. Graduated with honors, magna. Can't say that for Trump, for his 2 years at Fordham. Then she worked in the mayor's office in Atlanta, interned at the EPA, protested the stars and bars, studied public policy at University of Texas, has a master's in public affairs, and then earned a law degree from Yale. Okay. Yeah, very, very highly educated, served in the Georgia General Assembly, and then ran for governor. And looks like she does a lot of voter registration stuff. I didn't know that she did. I didn't know if I watched the response to the State of the Union. Have you guys seen that? Let's see if we, hold on a second. Let's see if we can find the State of the Union. YouTube. All right. Stacey Abrams response to State of the Union. Then I'm going to go here, stop sharing, share, Chrome tab, audio. We won't watch the whole thing. Let's just watch a minute or two.
Growing up, my family went back and forth between lower middle class and working class. Yet even when they came home weary and bone tired, my parents found a way to show us all who we could be. My librarian mother taught us to love learning. My father, a shipyard worker, put in overtime and extra shifts, and they made sure we volunteered to help others. Later, they both became United Methodist ministers, an expression of the faith.
Okay, so that's Stacey. I love the bio. I love the idea, but based on the first 29 seconds of that speech, I don't know. Not feeling nearly the same as when I see Tulsi give a speech. But at any rate, that is it for me sharing. I think we're going to wrap. If you have any questions for me, whatever you want, let's do a quick 5-10 minutes of Ask Me Anything, if there are any questions. And if they're not, we'll just wrap it up and see you guys later. Oh, here's a question. Show. Do you think Yang's next debate surprise is more freedom dividend, but on a bigger scale? Could be. I mean, certainly it worked well for him last time. And so Personally, I always am I was not a huge fan of the first time he did it, but it's hard to know if it worked or not. We don't have a counterfactual experiment to run, but he seems like he's doing great and raising 10 million this quarter. So I will defer to his judgment. Oh, is Andrew Yang too busy for his second interview? Whoops. Wow, there's like long delay on this. Hold on. So to answer your question, we are trying to schedule it as we speak. Let me check my email. And in fairness to the campaign, my schedule is a little crazy as well. I'm not running for president, but I do have a day job and I have some family stuff and travel coming up. So it's been hard, but we're trying. Yeah, we're trying to nail down a date. I'm hoping it'll be in the next few weeks. It will for sure happen. And I can't wait to talk to him about a number of topics. Like I really want to talk to him about immigration reform. But I want to ask him about point system, merit-based immigration versus kind of random lottery immigration. How much is the right amount? Especially in a country that will have a freedom dividend, I'm guessing a lot more people will want to participate in that American story. And it'll make us one of the most awesome countries to live in. But at the same time, there's probably a limit to resources. So I want to ask him about that. Then I want to ask him about Medicare for all. And I want to get his opinion on, hey, a lot of people are making a very valid point that half of the country has private insurance and they may not be anxious to give that up. How do you think about the Bernie Warren approach, which is single payer, everybody's on it, no more private insurance? The Buttigieg Medicare for all who want it, which is closer to also the Biden kind of ACA with a stronger public option. So I've never actually heard Yang talk in detail about the nuances of his healthcare vision. So I want to ask him about that, immigration. And I also would love to ask him some personal stuff, like what's his typical day like? What is it like? And what aside from being apart from family, like what's the hardest thing? So I hope we can have a great conversation and we'll get on the calendar soon. Wenzel says Warren would regard all of us as deplorables. I don't think she would say that. But I could see that being an assumption from a lot of voters, and it would hurt Warren. And that's probably why I think she would lose and we'd get another 4 years of Trump. Which, by the way, I know there's a lot of positivity in the Yang gang, but since I'm pissed today about all the media blackout, this president, my goodness, we have got to get a new president, guys. We have got to get a new president. This is a guy who is openly asking foreign countries for help to dig up dirt on his opponents. And the whole idea that, well, I'm just against corruption. And you just happen to call out the one person in the whole country who's running against you for president. That's the one you want to interview. That's the one you want to investigate. Like, it's just so crazy. I mean, like, imagine if any other president had done these things. And if he were a Democrat, the Republicans would go crazy. Remember Lindsey Graham? He was the head of the impeachment trials of Bill Clinton. And he gave long speeches in the well of the Senate about how important it was to uphold the rule of law and the decency of the Oval Office. And now he's like best buddies with Donald freaking Trump. All right. Do you celebrate Halloween in Switzerland? Most Swiss do not, although there's a lot of expats who live in our neighborhood. And so you always know the other Americans because they typically do put the jack-o'-lanterns out and give out candy. And my my sons, they find those houses. They search it out. Who, Brian? Nice question. Who will Bernie endorse when he drops out? Unfortunately, I think the answer is going to be Warren. I mean, they're already really friendly, and I mean, it would be amazing. How amazing would it be if he wouldn't even need to endorse Yang if he just didn't endorse anyone? What if he just said, you know what? I'm going to support whoever gets nominated. And basically that implicitly means he's not for sure for Warren, because everybody would assume that he would go for Warren. See, Sean Ollie, can I buy you a new laptop? Yeah, I have this old generation MacBook Air, and yeah, it like the fan blows crazy like the moment you turn it on, like it's struggling. If I had a freedom dividend, I would buy a new laptop in a few months. What's your favorite anime? I don't actually follow anime. I might be like one of the few people who don't. I mean, I like that Yang Gang one where he's like running and stuff, but I don't actually watch anime. And I know people are like, dude, you have to. It's freaking amazing. Unfortunately, with this channel, my day job, being a father to 2 boys and a husband to my wife, and listening to news a lot, I just don't have any time. How about a Republican VP? Whoa, I like that idea. I guess the question would be who, though? Like, are there any more Republicans that are not sucking up to to Trump? And unfortunately, the name that came to mind was Romney. Yang Romney? I don't know. That might be a little too conservative for the Democratic Party. I like the idea though, but I don't think that would be the smart move, because the smart move is you get a running mate that's going to help you turn out massive Democratic votes, because Yang is going to be the best Democrat to pull Republican votes. So I don't know that he needs a Republican on his ticket. What he needs, let's be real, is he needs a woman who can activate the African American vote and the woman vote, which is why Stacey Abrams is kind of attractive. But based on the 29 seconds that I saw of that speech, I'm not sure. Maybe that wasn't her best speech. Maybe she was nervous. Maybe she had to be really serious because it was the State of the Union. Let's see. More questions. Have you registered to vote? Yeah, of course. I'm already registered to vote. I voted last time through absentee ballot overseas, and I voted in the state of Washington, and we did not support Trump. We voted for Hillary, so it was not my fault that Trump is in office. How many seconds do you think he will get in the next debate? Oh, God. You know, I would not be surprised if they only give him like 5 minutes. I mean, there's 12 of them. And then if it were like half ads, half debate, and it's a couple hours, you know, it's only 5 minutes each. And we know they don't divide it evenly. So he might be kind of like mid single digits, which will be a freaking shame. The one good thing is, I hope we should encourage all of the moderators to ask Yang about wealth versus VAT tax, because then we would get a Warren Yang moment. And that's what we, in some ways, like I know we are super active on Twitter and stuff. We should find out who the moderators are for the next debate and encourage them to ask about VAT versus wealth tax. We don't even need to name Yang, because I think he's the only VAT guy, or the clearest one. And that'll guarantee we get prime time with the top dog. Okay, next question. I live in Berlin and find this campaign interesting. Is there anything I can do to help here in Europe? Keep up the great work. Danke für Ihre Frage. I think the best thing overseas folks who are not American citizens can do is help us spread the word online. Your Twitter account, your Facebook account, your YouTube likes count just as much as American voters. So help us spread the word. And that's probably the best thing you can do. And send us positive energy. Why are you in Europe? I work here as an expat for a large American technology company, and we have a engineering campus here where we hire a lot of Europeans. And so, since it's a global company, we try and work with the best people we can find. All right, next question. I'm scrolling. With other candidates taking Yang's platform, should we be worried that the people will then think, well, my candidate has this, so I don't need to vote for Yang? I honestly believe that the power of Andrew Yang is not his policies, although they are amazing and they're very well thought out. But I really think the power of Yang is him. And let me be specific. I think he has this rare combination of being really smart, but also very curious. Warren doesn't strike me as very curious. She strikes me as someone who, has been around. She was born in like 1949. She's seen a lot, and she probably feels like she's seen it all. And I think Yang is still like open to trying to really understand the problems and figure out solutions and iterate and basically lead like you'd want and not just sort of impose any dogma on the country. So I don't think if other candidates copy his policies, I think that's fine. But that is why we need these debates to give us an opportunity to speak. Like, imagine if we had a one-on-one debate between Yang and anyone. Oh my God, I think he would do really well. Basically, the more time he gets, the better he does. But that's also why the media blackout is starting to be like, it started initially. I was like, oh yeah, the media. And now I'm feeling like, look, you pieces of work. If you guys are suppressing a candidate who is polling ahead of everybody else that you seem to love to cover, you're basically rigging this election. You're giving free coverage, which is worth millions of dollars, to candidates that you like, and you are purposely withholding coverage from another candidate. And that's just bullshit. Okay. Next question. Could you ask Yang a topic about academia? Government funds a lot of research, but why are those research papers behind a paywall? Those are tax-funded research. I could, but he will probably only give me 20 minutes. So I want to make sure that I hit stuff that matters to as many people as possible. So that's why I was thinking immigration, healthcare, maybe a little bit of personal stuff, and then maybe his take on how the race will unfold and how his strategy will evolve, like he does. Sometimes he does that at fundraisers and stuff. I think that would be interesting. But, Joshua, you're thinking Kamala as a running mate. I'm not going for that one. I don't find Kamala super authentic. Personally, I feel like she has these manufactured moments of humor and these manufactured moments of like, I'm gonna tell you. I'm not down with that. But if Yang picks her, I'll support it. Tom, do you think it's time to create an event like Area 51? We should rate. I don't think we should. I'm not sure what the event Area 51 event was, but I see you use the word raid. So I'm definitely not down with violence. But I do wonder, what if we had like a sit-in, a peaceful thing where we basically staged the sit-in and refused to leave until Yang got equal coverage. And then simultaneously, we had like a live counter of minutes that they spend talking about every candidate, and it would make it very obvious that Yang's getting excluded. But yeah, that's what I do think. Like, we need to call BS on the mainstream media. In fact, like at some point, like you got to wonder if it's racist. Michael Greco, what's on your wrist today? No, it's the Panerai. It's the Italian diver's watch. 1950s kind of evoked design. I don't have the Grand Seiko on my wrist. It's actually in a box, and I've never taken it out of the box because I'm trying to hit a certain work milestone in order to earn and unlock that beautiful watch. Talk about the first Yang video you made. Are you surprised how this channel has grown? 100%. The first one I did was 3 reasons I'm supporting Andrew Yang. I published it on March 10th, and it was kind of on a whim. And basically, I thought, well, it'd be kind of fun. I love politics. And then, you know, it kind of just grew a little bit. And then for the first 6 to 8, you know, weeks easily, there was like nobody was watching these videos, and I was just making them. But then, of course, it started picking up, and then when it got mentioned on The View, that was just nuts. But you know, I also think the channel, I don't want to say it's plateaued, but we got to keep it real. It's not growing as fast as other channels. I think Padgett's channel is on fire. I think Kai Watson's channel seems to be growing really fast. You got the guys at Problem Solver Politics doing really great work. So I think there might be a limited market for my style of content, but I'll still make it as long as there's enough people interested in, you know, who want to lean into charts and my style. And lately I've been doing a lot of interviews, and I've enjoyed doing the interviews. Hope you guys have as well. Did you know that Trump is actually very likely to win in 2020? Yeah, yes, I do know he's likely to win 2020 if we nominate Warren or Biden or Bernie or Harris or Buttigieg. But I believe very strongly that if we nominated Yang, we would win the White House. Let's see. Next question. Donate to Nerds for Yang. I'm good. Just donate to Andrew. His campaign needs the money more than I do, and I'm good. I agree. I've got a little bit of a broke ass laptop, but it still works. Next question. Yeah, so people were asking about a ballot to get, and someone tweeted about this, to get Yang on the ballot for Democrats abroad. I don't know. If anybody has a link to that, let me know, because I haven't found it. Ooh, Fred the Felon. What do you think? You know, I was very bullish on the Hawks before the season started. I'm even more bullish now because we have Carson, an amazing running back. Yes, he fumbled a little bit before, but he reminds me a little bit of beast mode. And then you have Tyler Lockett, who's doing an amazing job as a wide receiver, who a lot of people thought was too small. And Russell Wilson's like having his best year ever. So I wouldn't be surprised if we won, you know, maybe 60, 70% of our games, and we for sure make it to the playoffs and maybe make it fairly deep. But I don't know that we're Super Bowl contenders so far. Are you helping automate away the jobs? No. I personally work on YouTube, to be honest, and I work on tools for YouTube creators. So we have no plans to automate creators, and I don't think we ever could, but we are making tools to help creators make more content. So we are not on the, I don't work on that stuff. However, I will say that like, that's what technology does. It's okay for automation. What we need to do is just get a system where the rewards are available and shared and participated in by the whole country, and it doesn't just go to a tiny percent of society. Which celebrity is tubular app is giving their is giving their own question a good rating? Yeah, nice question. Who would, well, first name that came to mind was Oprah. I'm not being like identity politics here, but I'm just looking at demographics. We need women, we need African Americans, otherwise we don't get the freaking primaries. So you're right. Future collaborations. I just did an interview with a guy by the name of Jin. And so I'll be publishing that soon. I need to edit it, and it takes a few days. And then I also did an interview with Jermaine Johnson from South Carolina office for Yang. So those are some, and then I've got a bunch of more coming up. If you subscribe to the channel, you'll see I have a bunch of upcoming live streams. Someone keeps asking about Dan Crenshaw. Oh, hey, Andrew. I don't think we need another Republican. I mean, I kind of feel like Yang appeals to a lot of Republicans, and getting a second Republican on the ticket doesn't do us any good. Not to mention that Yang is a Democrat, although I would say he seems to be more of a centrist Democrat. So yeah. Next question. When will Google? I'm not talking about work stuff. This channel is just my personal channel. I do not, nothing I say here is representative of Google. Nothing has been reviewed or approved by my employer. I do this on my own time. I just love Yang as a American citizen who has a day job. Have you thought about organizing a Yang Day in Europe? I haven't. I thought about doing an event maybe in London because my brother lives there. But honestly, with work and this channel and family, I'm pretty much like super spent in terms of time. What's more impressive, Yang or Yang Gang? You know, a few months ago, I would have said Yang, but I think it's tied now. And here's why. I did a live stream, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, with Fred the Felon. And then 2 days before that, I was with Jessica Canaday and Lacey Delane. And then a few days before that, I was interviewing Jermaine Johnson. And then today, I was interviewing MC Jin. And you're like, what an incredibly beautiful, diverse group of people with different backgrounds, different life experiences, different perspectives, but we all are rallying behind one candidate and wanting to solve problems. And we're not calling, we're not resorting to name calling. We're not, being dismissive. Although I'll own it a little bit. Like I am a little bit dismissive of Bernie now because I feel like, he's had a disqualifying event. But like when you talk to other people who support other candidates, I kind of feel like sometimes they don't take Yang seriously. And I feel like we give a little more respect to other candidates, even to like Castro and Klobuchar we know we support underdogs. Anyway, next question. When is Yang going to pick his VP? He wouldn't do it until after he got the nomination. I mean, well, let me rephrase that. Typically, you don't announce your VP until like at the convention, which means you've wrapped up the nomination. Now, maybe he could do it early as a way to kind of strengthen support. Like if you had a Tulsi drop out and then he announced her as his running mate, could that shake things up? Maybe. Do you think the polls lie? It's funny that you mentioned that. I actually just did. Oh no! Did I turn this computer off? I have a chart. Hold on. Let me show you this chart. Stream. Try again. Give me a second, guys. I'm going to show you a chart. Ooh, my foam wall thing is falling down. All right. Whoa. Okay, here we go. Check out so people were saying, hey, the polls lie. We're actually stronger than it says. Let me show you something. Bear with me. Okay. So everybody says polls are BS. They predicted a Clinton landslide. That's why you should ignore them. Look at this. This is the last polls before the November 8th, 2016 election of Donald J. Trump as president of the United States. A day that really will live in infamy, in my opinion. But what do they say? Well, look at the number one. Let's remember that Clinton actually won the the popular vote. She got 46.8%. She got 48.2%. He got 46.1%. That's what actually happened, right? The 48, 46. That's reality. That's ground truth. What was the Real Clear Politics average? 46.8 to 43. So the average of the most recent polls was that he was going to win. She was going to beat him by 3 percentage points. In fact, she beat him by 2 percentage points. So polls, I know people like to poop on the polls, but the polls are not like complete BS. Now, they were BS in terms of the state by state polling. That's a lot noisier, but the national polling I think is quite accurate. Tom, can we get a claw? Bam! Freaking Amazon. That shit. That shit. All right. Football Rams. No Rams. Well, in fairness, you guys probably should have beat Seattle in the last game on Thursday, but you didn't. And at the end of the day, it's the scoreboard that counts. Yeah, you should have made that kick, but you didn't. Just the same way that in Super Bowl 49, we should have gotten that shouldn't have given it to Beast Mode. He could have ran it in. Morgan, what you smoking? Oh, someone's responding to someone else. Let's see here. Gary V for VP. No, man. Need the women, need the African Americans. Need them. Why do you have blue heat sinks? Well, because I have these very cheap foam, like they absorb sound. And if you watch any of my early videos, from like the early days, there was a lot of echo in here. How much is that watch you're wearing? The watch is expensive. It's a mechanical watch. There's no batteries or anything in it. It has a exhibition. That's like no electronics here. It's limited edition. So to answer the question, I think I will tell you that it costs some money. But you know, everybody has to have their indulgence. I work hard. It was a gift to myself. All right. Next. Is Yang really anti-circumcision? No, he's pro-choice, pro-parents choose. And he doesn't think that the choice should automatically be yes. And since you asked, I have 2 kids, 2 boys, and we elected that they should be allowed to keep all of themselves. And if they decide later they want to get that snipped, that's their call. But I'm glad we didn't do it to them. Have you thought about making Google and Facebook ads for Andrew separately from Yang's, so you be his super PAC? No, I haven't. Number one, sounds like I'd have to get like a lawyer and make sure I did everything on the up and up. Secondly, given where I work, I feel like I don't want to sort of get involved in that stuff. But I know there are people like Fred who are thinking about doing a super PAC, and they'll probably run ads. And I think it would be great if a super PAC ran traditional TV, radio ads, because I feel like we do really well on Twitter and Reddit and YouTube, but we need to reach like older people. Another demographic we need help with is older white people, which is why maybe a Warren would be good, because she's 70 and white and a woman. I just don't love her affect. Okay, let's see. Isn't Yang supposed to roll out his healthcare plan today? Oh, maybe. Then it'll be good for us to talk about it in the interview. Let's see. Scrolling. Tom, do you think it will be dope if Elon Musk and Andrew Yang smoke weed together? No, I do not think it would be dope, because I think it would further marginalize Yang as a joke candidate. Now, if he was on a show with Elon and Elon chose to smoke weed by himself and Yang was just hanging out and maybe getting a little second hand, I think that might be like just the right amount. Okay, next. It is on top of existing sales tax. But the good news, Rich, is that you're going to have an extra $1,000 a month in your pocket. So unless you're spending like 10 grand a month on stuff, you're going to be good. How many Google employees have you yanged? I really don't talk about politics at work that much, but for the few that I've talked to, they are intrigued, but they're not automatically Yang Gang. There's some though. There's a lot of Warren, and actually there's some people I work with are Trump as well. So we got quite a mix. Let's see. Chris Mogul says, I know plenty of people, black people, who love Gary Vee. What the heck are you talking about? All right, maybe he would. I would just do some research myself if I were Andrew and find out who can activate the most votes. So I do think the VP is really like campaigner in chief. They're not, hopefully, luckily, historically, we've never had to, not never, but we often have not usually have not had to rely on the VP because thankfully the president makes it all the way through. Did I see the interview on The Hook recently with the lady from DNC calling Yang a joke? No, but I'm not surprised, man. You know, the DNC, they know what they're familiar with. I don't blame them. I feel like they're human and they're influenced by their biases, and their bias is that a guy they never heard of who wants to give money away doesn't make sense. And let's be honest, like it probably doesn't help that he's Asian, to be honest. I think if he were from a different demographic group, he would be taken more seriously, to be honest. But that's just a theory, and I don't think it's going to stop us from getting to the White House, but it is some headwinds. Next question. Thoughts on abortion rights? Well, I'm a libertarian, so I think people should be able to do like whatever they want, basically, as long as they're not harming other people. Now, we could have a debate about, okay, well, how do you define people? But I feel like it's also a very divisive issue. And I think we should just focus on helping the people that are born to have as much opportunity as possible. Next question. Do you think about people would sell their democracy dollars for real money? I think it's a risk, and I imagine there would be, like in any program, some percentage of fraud and abuse. But you know what? There's fraud and abuse with Social Security, and we still have it. There's fraud and abuse with law enforcement, and we still have it. So I don't think we should require any policy to be perfect in order to implement it. I think we have to convince ourselves that the benefits outweigh the costs. All right, let's see. How often are you buying tech? Well, clearly I need to buy a new laptop. I don't buy tech that often, although I do change my phone frequently. I have a Pixel 3 with the camera that would blow your freaking mind. My wife has an iPhone 10. Camera's a piece of crap. I think the newest iPhone has a camera that's like more comparable to the Pixel 3. And so there you go, man. Competition's good for everybody. Why do MSNBC and CNN hate Yang? I don't think they are vindictive. I don't think they purposely suppress Yang, but they just never consider him because they have subconscious bias against people they're not familiar with who are proposing ideas that they're not familiar with. You know, man does not have a good track record being open-minded. And CNN and MSNBC are full of humans. Can you show some watch collection? No, I can't. I don't want this to turn into a watch channel. But I will tell you, if you ever want, we'll do a wristwatch check. I am wearing the Pam a lot, but every now and then I will mix it up. And usually if I'm not wearing this one, I have a Omega Speedmaster, which is the first watch that was worn on the moon by Armstrong. So that's pretty cool. Next question. What else can Fred the Felon do to attract attention at the upcoming debates? Well, he's going to be driving his truck that's going to be wrapped. So that's going to be kind of a big deal. And knowing Fred, like, I think he has a lot of ideas. So I got a chance to chat with him on live stream for a couple hours. If you didn't see it, go to nerdsforyang.com and you can find the replay. Tom, thoughts on Yang and Eric Weinstein's disagreement around high-skilled immigration? You know, I didn't get to that part of the debate, so I will I will defer, but I will say that I am a fan of an immigration policy that does allow American companies to hire extremely high skilled people and have them come to the US if we are unable to find equally skilled people in the US. It's a shame that there are some extremely capable people that are educated at American universities with these highly technical degrees, but sometimes they can't stay and they go back to their home country and work for companies to compete against American companies, which seems crazy. Are you peaking? I feel like I am. It's it's like almost midnight, so I'm gonna have to wrap it up soon. What do I think of Steyer's motive for running? Well, I think everybody running for president, there's a little bit of hubris. You have to. I also think maybe he, in his heart of hearts, believes that he brings something unique to the race. And maybe selfishly, he just wants an amazing experience. Like if you're a billionaire and you have like all of worldly possessions, like shit, why not try and run for president? I mean, if Trump can do it. So I think his motive is good. I think he wants to help the country, and I think it's a combination of motives. Next question. Is artificial intelligence the enemy or the best ally? I think it's the best ally as long as we are able to manage the transition and help the people who are impacted find a soft landing, and better yet, find a new beginning. Like if you have AI and automation and it's doing all kinds of stuff for you for a very low cost, like we all get lower cost services, more efficient services for less money. We just need to find a way to earn money on our own in new ways. Part of it will be through participating through a VAT in the growth of the economy, but then the other one will be new jobs will likely emerge. And so I don't believe it's like the end of the world that there's all this automation and AI, but I do believe that that transition will be painful for many people. And that's why I'm a big supporter of UBI. Do you think the media will start digging into the new lie Warren was caught? I don't know anything about it, but I think she's getting kind of a free pass. They love to talk about how she always has a plan. Meanwhile, like Yang has 150 plans and nobody ever talks about that. But if she gets the nomination, they will definitely dig. And I'm sure Trump will do massive opposition research and who knows, maybe even ask other countries to help him. Let's see. Should Yang stir things up in the next debate? Who? Yes, and I think he should do it with Warren over the wealth tax because it's a policy thing. It doesn't appear too personal, but it will allow him to showcase his thinking. Where are you at? I'm in Switzerland. That's why it's almost midnight here. Can you still vote on the questions? Yeah, if you go to the YouTube channel and click on the community tab, there is a question saying, what should I ask Andrew? And you can just thumbs up the questions you like the most, or you can post a new question. Serpent says she was fired for being pregnant. Oh, well, both could be true, but if they can prove that she was not being truthful, then that'll be two, and then it starts looking like a pattern. All right. Oh, Jolene says that the Fred interview with Tom was better. Well, PSP does great interviews, but I'm glad you like both, and hopefully we can all be on each other's shows going forward. So go check out Fred's channel; he's growing it, and go follow him on Twitter. He definitely is a super interesting dude with a lot of great ideas, and what a wonderful life story too. And very giving, very, very open to helping people. So we need more people like that in the world. All right. Oh, Emily Kingsley says that, dude, that interview wasn't that good. All right. You're keeping it real. That's fine. It's all good. All right, guys, it is late. I bet my wife is going to be like, what the hell were you doing? It's midnight. But I was just hanging out with the gang. All right, guys, keep it real. We'll see you next time. And keep fighting, man. Keep fighting all the way to the White House.